Today's episode of Healthy and Wealthy, Body and Business for Women Over 40. In today's episode, we're talking with Anne Prince, a client of the Health and Fitness Coach. At 56, when Anne first joined, she was excessively overweight. Her arthritis was stopping her from really being mobile. Her energy was at rock bottom, and in her own words, the future looked bleak. Now, just a short few months later, she's lost 30 centimeters off her waist. She's lost over 3 stone in body fat. She has started moving more. Her arthritis has gone into remission. Her energy's through the roof and her confidence is sky high. She takes up some of her time today to talk about all of the simple tips, tricks, and habits that she's changed over the last few months to see such remarkable results in both her physical, emotional, and mental health. If you are struggling with any aspect of weight, menopause, arthritis, or body image, then listen in, because she, in her own words, is just a normal woman speaking to other normal women, talking about how menopause doesn't need to define you and it's never too late. If you need any help in your own self, then please head to the website, thehealthandfitnesscoach.com. Check out our programs and get in contact if you want to talk further. Enjoy the episode. A massive welcome to all of you for joining us on today's episode, and a huge thank you to our guest today, Anne Prince, for taking some of her valuable time and giving it to us to share her journey. Welcome to the show, Anne.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
Fabulous. Well, as I said in the introduction, Anne is actually not just a former, but she is a current client. And Anne is here to really talk about the tips, tricks, advice, hope, and maybe some guidance that she can offer. And I think off air, she used the phrase, normal people can do it. And that's exactly what today's show is all about, is a normal woman speaking to other normal women about what works. So let's get straight into it. Before we met, there were quite a few different areas that you were struggling with. So what was it that you were finding challenging in your health, whether it weight, physical health, or anything else?
Okay, so I'm 56, and so I still am perimenopausal. Added to that, I've got arthritis. I've got arthritis in both my knees, my shoulder, and my right elbow. And I just felt so fat. I just felt like a little elephant. I was like a little ball. And I just changed jobs actually at the time that you and I met. I'd left the previous job. I'd started a new job and I was like, need a new challenge. But moving was really difficult. Getting up off the sofa was difficult. I'm on medication for my arthritis, and I was on methotrexate, and I was on 8 tablets a week. And that's really quite hard work because it makes you feel sick. It makes you feel sick at the weekends. You can't enjoy the weekends. Getting dressed was depressing. Everything was tight. Everything was uncomfortable. I couldn't do my bra up easily because my shoulder was hurting. And then my new job's in London, and I commute probably about 3 times a week. And for anybody that knows Finsbury Park Station, they'll know that to get from the underground to the overground, you have to go up 5 flights of stairs. And I needed oxygen at the top of all those stairs. It was just horrendous. I couldn't speak. I'd get up to the top, and my husband would be waiting for me, and I'd be like, and it was just really, really hard. So there was a lot going on, and there was a lot to be miserable about.
So with all of that happening, you must have tried something before we met. So what were the different things that you tried that just hadn't really worked for you to shift the weight and also help with the fitness and the energy levels?
Yeah, it'd probably be quicker to list what I haven't tried, to be honest. So I've done I did Weight Watchers in my 30s. I did Slimming World a little bit. I've done Fast 800. I've done I actually tried hypnotherapy. So I there's only one food that I won't eat, and that's mushroom soup. can't bear the thought of mushroom soup, can't bear the actual mushroom soup. So I had hypnotherapy to persuade me that everything sweet smelt and tasted like mushroom soup, which worked for a little while, but then wore off. So yeah, so I've tried quite a few things.
So with all of these, you know, multitude of magic bullets, as it were, that you had in your belt, what were you looking for to be different? When we met, what was it that you were searching for in the hopes that the next thing would work? What would you have liked at that point to change?
Yeah, I think I was looking for something that was suitable for a woman of my age and my predicament. And I was also looking for something that was a bit more personal and tailored to me. Obviously, the hypnotherapy had been tailored to me, but because I was so unconscious while it was happening, I didn't quite know what to do when it stopped working. So I wanted a set of tools that I could actually go, you know, use and understand and appreciate. So it was just, and I think it was, I could have gone back to classes, but I just find them so repetitive and annoying, and I just wanted something that was very personal to me.
At the stage when we met, you know, you said that the arthritis was really bad, the mobility, the energy. How was that having an effect at that point on your self-confidence, your self-esteem? I mean, what did the future look like to you if things just continued in the same vein?
Yeah, it looked pretty bleak, really. So I'd also got, my mum had just been taken into care. She's got dementia. So that had taken quite a massive mental toll on me as well. And although I'd got this great new job, it just felt as though everything else was rubbish. And it just felt really bleak, and my mental health and particularly my self-confidence really suffer when I'm sort of like got more weight on me. And I know from past experience that when I lose the weight, my self-confidence really shoots up, and that was one thing I was really looking for.
When it came to starting the program, what did you feel, you know, from the get-go was different? What did you feel was going to be the keys to making the change? Because we are going to talk about the actual achievements that you've had, because they've been amazing. But before we talk about that, what did you feel at the beginning were the things that really helped you kickstart and really make the changes that you've sustained to this day?
I think the thing for me that was different was the fact that it was a series of small changes. You go somewhere like Weight Watchers or Slimming World, and you completely change your whole life in the first week, and you turn it upside down, and you're eating completely different stuff, and it's just, you know, you're all in it for the first couple of weeks because you're really excited and you're losing loads of weight, and then it starts slowing down, and then you're like, crikey, I can't actually eat anything I want to eat anymore, and it all gets a bit too much. Whereas this one, because we were just making small changes each week, it felt much more sustainable. And I suppose I formed habits quicker, and more ingrained habits. And then of course there's movement. Because I know when I first met you, I said, don't do exercise. No, I'm not doing exercise. No. So then we used the word movement.
We did indeed. We reframed very effectively.
Yes, we did. Yes. And that has been a big shift for me. I think on days where I was working from home, I probably did about 1,500 steps at the beginning, and you were fairly appalled, quite rightly so. But you know, it wasn't like, right, and you need to go from 1,500 to 10,000. It was, you know, it was small steps, so it was all very manageable.
How many steps are you doing now?
So I'm doing 8,500 now. So yes. So we started, I think my initial target was 5,000. And then we've sort of like gradually gone up from there, and you've persuaded me that every now and then that I do have another 5 minutes to do another 500 steps. So you're very persuasive like that. And I'll be like, I haven't got time, haven't got another 5 minutes. And then in the end, I'm like, oh, I might as well just stop arguing and say, all right, then I'll do the 500 steps.
In the time that it took to argue, you could have done them, right?
Exactly. It's just not worth it. So you know, and the benefits are there. It's not that it's not beneficial. So.
So these small changes in habits have clearly reaped huge rewards. So why don't you talk to us about the different things that you've achieved, whether it's in terms of weight loss, centimeters lost, your arthritis, mobility. Give us a rundown of all of the things that have improved for you.
Okay, you said you only wanted this to be 20 minutes, so it might be long. So in total, I've now lost, originally we said 12 pounds in 3 months. I think that's what we set out to do originally. So I've now been working with you for about 40 weeks, and I've lost 3 stone and 3 pounds. That's 45 pounds. I've gone from a very uncomfortable size 18 to a very comfortable size 14. I've lost 30 centimeters around my waist. Oh, foot. I have gone down to my arthritis medication has been reduced. So I was on 8 tablets a week. I'm now on 5 tablets a week. And so I'm not feeling the ill effects on a Sunday. I've managed to keep a whole packet of biscuits in the house for 9 weeks, open. I know I said to you at one point, I said, I can't have a packet of biscuits because if I have a packet of biscuits and I open it, I will eat them all. And then you said, right, okay, get the packet of biscuits, open it, take one out, and then reseal the packet of biscuits, and then eat the one biscuit. So we did that 9 weeks. I'm not sure in my whole family history, a packet of biscuits has ever lasted 9 weeks.
I love the fact that we've lost 3 stone, 3 pounds, but no, let's bypass that. We got to talk about the biscuits for 9 weeks.
The biscuits is, you know, that was quite a moment really. So but in addition to that, so I've bought my first bikini as an adult. So I've got back into dresses that I haven't worn for years. So you know, it's just been amazing.
Phenomenal.
And obviously, as you can tell, my self-confidence is, you know, back.
Definitely back. Here she is telling the world about all of her achievements. And you know, I myself am exceptionally proud to be part of this journey. So for those women sitting at home going, okay, this sounds awesome. She's taken small steps to make the changes. Probably one of the key questions is, what are some of those small steps? Now, we haven't got time, even if we had 2 hours, to probably go through every single small step over the last 40 weeks. But could you give us maybe your key pointers that you felt were pivotal habits or changes that have led to the success?
So I think I've started drinking a lot more water. I've stopped drinking. I have 1 cup of tea a day. I used to be quite addicted to tea, to the point where my dentist always used to say to me, drink lots of tea. Yes, I do. But he hasn't mentioned tea last time I went to see him. So just 1 cup of tea a day. Then I drink fruit teas or water or whatever. So that's been quite different. I've also increased the amount of protein that I eat. And that's been through things like collagen. So I mix that in with my hot chocolate. And it's just being much more aware of the amount of protein that I have. So for breakfast, I'll have fat-free yogurt. And then for lunch, I'll make sure I have a proteiny lunch and a high protein dinner. And I suppose there's those kind of things. There's the movement, because it's not just walking anymore. There's other stuff that I do too. And decreasing the carbs, I guess. But I suppose the one thing that I would say is that when I started on this, I was like, oh, this sounds like it's going to be quite expensive, all this protein. But I think because I'm not buying the chocolate bars, I haven't really noticed a difference in the food bill particularly. And the other thing is that we have quite a rigid, so we have quite a, it's a bit sad really, but we have quite a rigid way we eat. So we have soup on a Monday, we have chippy tea on a Tuesday, and we have jack potatoes on a Thursday. It gets a bit more varied the other 4 days. But I've been able to do all that and still have those, that sort of like meals. So, but instead of having like 3 sausages for my chippy tea, I'll just have 1, you know, and then I'll have a lot less chips and I'll have a lot of veg. So yeah, the veg and the salad's gone up too.
Okay, so it sounds like, you know, the water, the protein, the portions have really sort of stuck out for you, and of course the movement. And you just mentioned there chippy tea, good old chippy tea. For those in the States listening, a chippy tea is a good old fashioned fish and chip shop, but you can get big old sausages and various different things from there. So you've been able to have takeaways, or, you know, these kind of foods that maybe traditionally people think aren't good when you're losing weight. And I know that Friday night's quite a ritual for you. You know, you get to have a glass of something, and, you know, it's a nice meal out. So what was surprising for you about what you've done, in the sense that you're still eating things which are considered in most diets, quote unquote, if you're listening, bad, but you've still managed to eat them, enjoy them, and lose a huge amount of weight? So what was surprising for you about this approach and this way of doing things?
I think what was surprising, I haven't felt hungry. And I know lots of people on diets say that, but I really haven't felt hungry. I think the protein tends to keep you fuller for longer. And I think I suppose it's portion sizes really. So sometimes I'll see something. So I was out at a work meeting last week, and there was some cake there, and I was like, wow, that looks amazing, because it was all homemade. But I just had 1 mouthful, because that's all I really wanted. I just wanted to know what it tasted like. I didn't need a whole slab of it. I just needed 1 mouthful, you know, and it's just being a bit more sensible about it really. But I haven't had cravings particularly either, unless I've not been very well, in which case I have been a bit sort of like, I've craved the carbs a bit more, but that comes and goes. So, but generally no cravings, and I've not felt hungry.
Fantastic. So no cravings, not felt hungry, ate your weekly chippy, and still lost 30 centimeters, a whole foot, as you said, around your waist. So that's fantastic. So you've mentioned all of the things that you've done that haven't worked. And clearly, like most diets, they worked for maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then it dropped off. This time round, do you feel the weight loss is here to stay?
Oh, I do hope so. I think so. I think I'm much more, because one of the other things that you and I have talked about is the fact that my saboteurs are that I like to be a hyperachiever and I like to be in control. And when either of those things aren't happening, that's when I start, you know, thinking about eating something else. But I think I just know myself much better now, and I know how to, and don't get me wrong, I'm not successful all the time, but I do know what to do. And I know, and you and I talk about course correction. I should say, right, that's it, I'm off the diet, that's it. I haven't been good, I haven't done the diet. And it's not, you know, at the end of the day, this is a way of life. It's not just you know, we don't get to the end point and they say, right, job's done, off we go. You know, it's something I will have to work at, just to maintain, not as hard as I'm working to lose, but I will have to work at it. But it's just about, and it's also about learning to adapt, because life does get in the way sometimes. You know, you and I have had weeks where I've come on the call and I've been in bits because something's happened in the family, or I've been I've been really nervous because I was about to do something at work, and we haven't talked about food at all that week. We've talked about whatever's going on in the life, you know, and I've not been well lately, and I'm still trying to get back over that. So it's, you know, and that'll happen again. that just does happen, you know, life gets in the way, but it's learning how to navigate your way around it, and through it, and come out the other side.
It sounds like there is a huge acceptance from you that there will never be a perfect week, and that's okay, because you now have the tools and the self-awareness to be able to navigate that course and know that the end goal is still in sight, that it isn't going anywhere. So that's huge. So would it be fair to say that, yes, food, nutrition, habits, all of these have had a massive impact, but your relationship with yourself and your self-awareness has had quite a profound effect on your success as well?
Yes, I think so. I think I've learned to be a lot kinder to myself, and I've also learned to set boundaries with some of my more demanding family members. I'm not being nasty to them, but just, you know, at the end of the day, I've got to look after myself, or I'm not going to be in a fit state to look after anybody else. So yeah, so I think I have learned quite a lot about looking after myself and, yeah, being there for me.
So we spoke about all of the physical things that have happened in terms of weight and centimeters and arthritis and all of these wonderful things. From an energetic perspective, because when we first met, you were tired.
Yes,
I think tired is probably not even the word. Exhausted would be, more appropriate. So you're here, you're smiling. It's a Tuesday evening, and you're looking bright as a button. How is the energy these days for you?
Yeah, no, I've got so much more energy. I think it's partly the confidence, it's partly the fact I'm not dragging around all that extra weight. But yes, I have lots more energy than I have had before. And I'm not in pain either, so that always helps, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So what does the future look like for you? How do you feel, when we first met, and you've just reiterated it in today's episode, that if it continued as it was a pretty bleak state of affairs. There was nothing really to hugely look forward to. How do you feel about the future now that you've got this energy, you've got this vitality, and you're not dragging around that extra 3 stone?
Yeah. The future's bright. It's not orange, but it's bright. Um, yeah, no, I think, like I said, I think I now have the tools, and the support from you to be able to maintain it. I want to lose a little bit more weight, not a huge amount, but a little bit more. And then it moves into maintenance and course correction and whatever that might look like. But yeah, I've got so much more energy now. Yeah, it's like I'm like a new person, really.
Amazing. So with all of these wonderful successes, if I were to ask you, what is the biggest takeaway or nugget that you've learned that you could share with the audience today? If you were to leave them with one message or thought, what might that be?
I think that it is possible. You know, you hear in the newspapers and on social media that once you're in menopause, you're going downhill and everything's falling off and going wrong and dropping down and whatever. But you know, it is possible to lose weight and to feel better. And you've just got to have the faith and the belief to do it, because like I said, I'm just a normal person who's done this. There's nothing particularly special about me other than the fact that I've diligently done what you told me to do. So, and I've worked it into my life.
Fantastic. I love that. It is possible, and it doesn't matter if you're peri, post, whatever stage of menopause. Don't let anyone tell you that has to define you.
No, absolutely not.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking up your valuable time to be with us today, and for imparting some of your wise words and wisdom with everybody out there. And that just leaves me to say not only just a big thank you to Anne for joining us and for being such a wonderful client, but also for all of you for listening. And as ever, if you do have any questions or you want to check out the kind of steps that Anne would have taken in her program, then feel free to head to the website, thehealthandfitnesscoach.com, check out the programs and have a look at the kind of things that we do. So thank you to everyone for listening, and thank you to Anne for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
See you all on the next episode.